Hello, everybody. Happy Wednesday. It is November 30th. We are live. This is not a recording, as I'll show to you right here. Hang on. Here's my phone. It is November 30th. Boom. It's 8 o'clock where I'm at, but we go live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And we bring on a brand new guest, somebody who's usually totally new to us. I've never met Jake, and we're going to bring Jake on here in a second. And we unpack a little bit about their journey online and how they got started and all sorts of cool stuff. So if you're tuning in live with us, or I guess if you're on our recording, you can let us know in the chat. First of all, let me know where you're tuning in from. Just type in the chat a little comment. It lets me know that you can hear me okay and that we are actually live and there's real humans out there. If you are new, just so you know, we go live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern on our Facebook page. So if you find Legendary Marketer Official on Facebook, you'll be able to go right to our video section or the live section of our Facebook page and see us totally live, unscripted, and uncut. I think for the most part, we don't really cut anything out. We just hit go live and have ourselves a good little time. So we've got some North Carolina in the house. We've got Spain in the house. We got Pennsylvania so far. We've got Orlando. All right. And last thing, just so everybody's aware, we never, our staff, our group of people here that work at Legendary, there's, I don't even know how, over 50 of us now at this point. We do not message you on Facebook. If you get some sort of a scam message that looks like, maybe sometimes they'll create Facebook pages that are like Legendary Marketer and it has an extra space at the end or an underscore or something. And they'll message you and ask you to send money through WhatsApp or some random crap like that. Just so you know, that's never us. We don't ask people to do that. Some people get confused by that, but hopefully that helps clear that up for you. So without any further intro, let's bring on our guest for the day. And if everybody who is here down in the chat can give us a little hand clap emoji or a cheering emoji or something like that to welcome on Jake. What's up, Jake?
Hey, everybody. Thanks for joining. Thanks for having me as well.
Of course. So tell us where you're calling in from.
I'm from Michigan. It's pretty
Okay.
morning. It's like 34 degrees.
Oh,
So we're
dang,
going in.
that's brutal.
Yep.
We are in Phoenix, and when I grew up in the Midwest though, so I get it. That's the reason I'm down here in Phoenix.
Yep.
But when we get mornings like this, let me see if I can show this. 53 degrees.
No.
That for me, I'm like, okay, where's my winter coat again?
Yep.
I've kind of become a little bit of a wuss, but it's all right. So you are up there in Michigan, and how did you find us? You currently have a full-time job. Tell us a little bit about that. Tell us about your time spent doing a little bit of door dashing and stuff like that. I used to do DoorDash too. For a long time, Uber Eats, I think, and Uber, and I drove it late on weekend nights when I was first getting started. I don't tell that story often, but yeah, I'm definitely familiar with that life. Tell us a little bit about your journey getting started online.
Yeah. So my formal education and most of my work history is in aviation. I've done a little bit of like flight operations work dealing with the pilots. And the last number of years has been more on the customer service side of things. So, right when the pandemic hit, I was laid off pretty much immediately and had to find a way, right, to make money immediately. So that's when I started door dashing and did that for a couple of years. And the money was pretty good over the pandemic. I think people were a little bit generous with their tips, and the demand for drivers was so high that, the companies were paying out pretty well. But I would say 6 months after the pandemic started, the hourly wage just dropped. And so I was looking for anything to make money online. Dave talks about lotions, potions, and pills. I was doing surveys and user testing and rating songs online, for little pennies or whatever. And I was on TikTok, and I think the first person I came across was Camilla Markson. And I think I ended up signing up through her. And I was like, "What is this that I keep seeing?" So I just clicked on her link and started the challenge.
Wow, cool. Did and about you might have said that, but how long ago was that when you saw that and started the challenge?
I think it was a little more than a year ago, October 21.
Cool.
Yep.
That's awesome. So you purchased the challenge, you start going through the challenge. My curiosity is like, had you tried some form of like digital education before or anything like that?
Nothing outside of college. I went to Michigan State for a couple years, and then went to an university, which was all online. So it was familiar with learning style, but had never purchased something additional outside of college before that.
I got you. Yeah, I did a little sort of online class in college too, which I just felt like was I don't know, kind of a joke, but not a joke, but I was just like, wow, really? This is like accredited education. This is kind of crazy. And I felt like the professors and people teaching, I was like, I'm really learning from you. Like this is a little crazy to me. Um, so you go through the challenge, you're learning, you're figuring things out, and here you are, geez, a year later, you're starting to make some money online. You've built some valuable skills, I'm assuming.
Yep.
And what do you feel like has been valuable or most valuable from, it could be even like mindset shifting, right? Even just learning the idea of like making money from the internet is kind of cool. But like outside of that too, like skills that you've built or connections you made, like what's been valuable to you from the end of getting into Legendary's education?
Yeah, I think the most valuable thing is just that there are other opportunities out there and that anyone can do it, which is cool.
Mm,
I think it's so cool to see people on TikTok. You'll just scroll and you'll just find somebody new, some completely normal dude that is making some cash online and it's changed his life. So it's pretty awesome.
mm,
Yep. I,
cool.
me and initially, right, is that everybody can do it.
Yeah, totally. Um, and I even feel a little bit like sometimes there's like almost too much opportunity. Like sometimes when there's so much opportunity in front of us as people, we look at it and we're just like, how would I ever decide what the heck I'm gonna do? Like what But I do like on especially on something like TikTok. Like the other day, I was scrolling through and saw a dating coach, and I was like, wow, interesting. We've actually had a dating coach on here, but I was like, wow, like you actually that makes so much sense to me when you think about people in the world who struggle getting a date or asking somebody out or whatever. Man, it's just crazy. But
There's a thing.
yeah, yeah. Yeah, it's absurd. So what current day, I take us through your timeline. What I'm curious about is your timeline from August purchasing the challenge till November 30th now. You've had like kind of a 15-month or so journey.
Hmm.
Tell us a little bit about, you know, how long did you start the challenge right away? Did you delay a little bit or did you kind of look around and then when did you start to take the training seriously, start to implement some stuff? What was that timeline and process like? The reason I'm asking is because sometimes it's helpful for people to get a realistic vision of just what this timeline and process could look like for them.
Yeah, definitely. Yeah, so I bought the challenge in October of 21, and I went through the majority of it, maybe about 75%.
Okay.
Started posting a little bit on TikTok, and I think I gave it like a week or 2 weeks, right, and wasn't seeing much traction. Um, and personally, I'm a little bit of a procrastinator, and I'm a little bit of a grass is greener person, where I'm like, this isn't working, I'm going to try something else, right?
Sure.
That's my
So
personality.
so tell us about that because I like hearing that. And you could say procrastinator and grass is greener, but I've over 12 years, I have the same thing. I've actually just come to learn, oh, that might just be curiosity,
Hmm.
you
I like
know?
a good way to put it.
Yeah.
Yeah, even in
But what happened, or what did you do? Tell us about that.
yeah, even in like my career life, I think I counted one time with jobs and side gigs. I think I've had like 40 different things I've tried. And I think it's just because I'm always looking for something better, maybe something that'll make me more money, something that's more fun.
Sure.
Yeah, curiosity is a good way to put it.
Yeah, because listen, I guess how many people would look at that and say, "Wow, yeah, look at it." And here's the classic line: "Can't hold a job,"
Right.
"Can't hold a job." But I've listened to enough interviews and read enough books from wildly successful entrepreneurs who literally they just say, "I'm a horrible employee."
Mhm.
Like, people would say, "I can't hold a job." They're right. Like, I can't hold a job. It drives me insane. And whether it's ego or curiosity or, sometimes people are just built and wired a different way, and they need to do their own thing their own way, and that's just what it is? And I always like to sort of reframe that, especially if we've got a watching audience here on Facebook, like, especially if we've got people here who are feeling the same way. I like to reframe that in a way of like, no, you don't actually have to feel bad about that. You don't have to feel like this is a shortcoming for you. The truth is um I you know, here's the last story I'll tell. When I was in Italy, I went to, Florence, and I went to this museum where you could see statues of, that Michelangelo and all these people had built. And when you walk in, there's this big statue, called I think the name of it is just the David statue. And, it's basically a statue here, I'm gonna share my screen.
Yeah, I think I know which one you're talking about.
Yeah, well, and for anybody who doesn't, it's let's see, David statue. Here we go. So this statue of David, but what they don't usually show you when you go to this museum, in the photos at least, is is that along the way I mean, this thing is massive too, by the way. Like the statue itself is huge. But along the way to see that statue, all of the stuff, leading up to it are just unfinished statues,
Hmm.
and they don't look really like anything. They have a resemblance, but they look kinda like blobs. And, and the same was true of Leonardo da Vinci. You go to one of his museums and same thing. It's like there's tons of unfinished they look like children's art projects. It's like, what was this guy doing? But now looking back years and years and years later, to everybody who knows of their work, it's like, wow, yeah, these guys are some of the most genius artists of all time in the history of the world, and have produced some of the most important artworks that have ever existed. And actually led a big new era in history. And so anyway, my point there in saying all of that is, I think sometimes we look at our jumping from one thing to another, or we look at sort of our shiny object syndrome is another word that people use, and we feel guilty or we feel ashamed. And I think, to me, uh, for as many people as I've seen go through that, I just see, not that focus isn't important, but I just see such a clear, obvious trend of people who have to explore things. They
Mhm.
need their curiosity to be itched. And usually when it is, then it's like, okay, now I can focus.
I point there too with the other statues, right? Nobody starts with the David masterpiece, right?
Yeah.
Or who you are or what you're doing. So,
Yeah.
yeah.
Very good point. Very good point. The David statue's never, ever the first thing. It's usually a lot of mangled messes before you get to something that's beautiful and worth, putting on display. But, I mean, let's keep that analogy going one more time. Did they take those things and throw them in the river? Did they take those things and break them up? They're
Right.
still on display. Their story is being told. It's being put on display for the world to see. And there's really no shame in that. Nowadays, you'd be diagnosed as ADD or ADHD, like, and you'd be on Adderall or something.
Exactly.
But back for those guys, they're just like, hey, not a big deal.
Mhm.
I'll just move on to the next thing and I'll figure it out as I go.
Exactly.
And I think that kind of freedom and childlike playfulness is something that really benefits entrepreneurs. So tell us about tell us a little bit about TikTok and social media and your journey to getting started on social media and how that went. And tell us a little bit about that. You got 55,000 now,
Yep.
55,000 followers, and that doesn't happen just by accident. Tell us about how you were able to pull that off.
Yeah. So we talked about how I jumped around a little bit, right? Um, I think I waited until about May
Okay.
uh, this year to kind of restart the challenge because I kept seeing
Mhm.
TikTok and okay, maybe I just need to go through this one more time, right? So I started
Sure.
day one, again, went through the whole thing. I started posting TikTok again. And then probably about June or July, I happened across a company called Secret Socials. Don't know if you've heard of it before, but they specialize in growing TikTok accounts and also helping you monetize and make money off of whatever niche you're in.
Okay.
So I did decide to invest
Cool.
in their program. Uh,
Cool.
we can talk about investing in a minute because I want to bring that up. But
Cool.
so I went through their program and I spent a couple months really diving into how to grow a TikTok channel. And it just comes down to doing some research in your niche, really, to see what videos are popping off and then modeling that.
Yep.
And about a week or two after I started doing that and really focusing on what was working on TikTok, I think my account went from maybe about 5,000 people to 15 or 20.
Wow.
Just immediately, I had a video go close to I think about 1 million views, just jumped off. And then I started
Jeez.
with my own, new ladder. So did that for a little bit. I had the first small ticket item built, made a little bit of money, I think $500 on that.
Cool.
Normal 9 to 5 got busy again. And I was like, I don't have the time to create this, you know, wealth of products. So I'm like, hey, I'm just going to turn Legendary back on in the background again and see what happens. And I think the second day I did that, I got the first Legendary commission. I thought, well, let's just
Hmm.
keep this train.
Cool. So you were trying or did build out like kind of a course of your own is what you're saying?
A little bit, yeah. So the video that popped off was just a remote job you can do at night,
Okay.
right?
Cool.
So I built, I think like I had like the first item was a list of 100 employers that are hiring for remote jobs right now, and I sold it for like $27, right?
Cool.
So yeah,
Yeah, very cool. Very thoughtful, very innovative, very sort of yeah, I like that that's just a very simple. And do you still have that list today?
I do. It's not currently for sale.
Cool.
Yep, but yeah, I've still got it.
So smart.
You know,
Yeah, it's even something you could, I see people leverage that or do things with stuff like that. Like there's so many ways to utilize that kind of thing, but you can use that as a lead magnet on your on if you go live on TikTok or Instagram or something. I used to do this thing where I had a giveaway sort of similar to that, maybe about 10 years ago. And I think this is around the time Facebook Live started the first time, but they didn't have, I mean, dude, they didn't have like green screens and random shit
oh,
you could do behind your head or whatever. But uh, I would put up like a little banner with paper above my head that was like, God, I wish I had photos of this. That was just a simple URL that was like, well, the one Dave has is something like Dave's Big News or something. Dave has big news or something like that. But I was doing like matt3000.com, just
cool.
something that like anybody could remember, simple URL. And I would just be like, I would I printed out this little worksheet and I would just kind of flip through it or whatever. And it was a worksheet on dreamscaping. So mine was more around personal development. And so I would hold it up and I was, live sort of presenting in a webinar style thing. And it would say Matt 3000 above my head. And so I would say, hey, look, this is an incredible worksheet. I'm giving it away for free tonight. And your boss isn't going to ask you about your dreams. You're lucky sometimes if your spouse asks you about your dreams, your hopes and dreams and goals. why not take a couple hours to sit down and actually work through a worksheet, and I'll give you a free little video along with a worksheet. All you got to do is go opt in. And, everybody on that freaking live ended up going and grabbing it just because they felt like they were getting so much value. And something like your thing, you could even say, hey, look, this is something, if you did a green screen on a live, you could put something like, hey, 100, what was it again? 100 companies hiring.
Hiring remote jobs.
Yeah. 100 companies hiring remote jobs, and then put like, $27 with a strike through it,
Mhm.
and then put free,
Exactly.
and then, people in the every couple of minutes, you can just drop the URL. Hey, go to jake3000.com, grab your free copy. I used to sell it for $27, totally free today. Limited time freebie, and then just pile in leads, right? And as they go in, now here's the secret. So here's sort of a secret sauce for everybody who's here. And I'm going on a little bit of a rant here, but my brain is sort of like, ooh, ideas. But here's what's worked with something like that is after somebody opts into a little freebie gift like that, you don't give it to them right away. So in your autoresponder, set a little delay. So when they get on, delay it 15 minutes. And so they don't get an email from you immediately. You actually just say, hey, it's going to take a fee at the top bar of the bridge page. You say your free limited time copy, report is on the way.
Hmm.
In the meantime, I have a really important message for you, right? And you actually send them through an affiliate marketing bridge page or some sort of if you own your own product, you just send them straight through a sales page.
Yep.
And you sell them a product. And they'll get their freebie in their email inbox a little bit later. I don't know. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I've heard that before too, right? If your email comes through right away and they're looking at that offer that you have on the back end, then they're going to get
Yeah.
to pull away from the offer. You don't want that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. It gives them a little time to focus. This is the name for that is called a tripwire funnel.
Cool.
Well, I think I don't know, if Russell Brunson named it that, or who named it that, Ryan Dice or somebody. But yeah, it's a good way to take a really valuable lead magnet and put it in front of somebody, get them to opt in. And I don't know, to me, it really changed the game on how I saw that lead magnet, because if you create something that's really, truly valuable, and you're really putting it in front of people, the odds of people claiming it are actually really high.
Yeah,
People are going to be very excited.
I did some research, right? I've started to track a lot of things and try and get data behind this business. And let me just pull this up. So I track the opt-ins before and after the lead magnet because I just added a new ebook.
Okay.
And I like 39-40% opt-in before the ebook. And right now, after a week of that being live, I'm at an 86% opt-in rate.
Wow.
So, huge, huge difference.
Not only is that like huge in terms of just, wow, what an opt-in rate increase, but man, doesn't that tell you something? Like, doesn't that tell you just how much people are wanting that information?
Exactly.
And you have really found a crowd and a crew of people who are hungry to learn how do I work from home? How do I and that's powerful, dude. That's really powerful stuff.
Yep. Yeah, I think that
Wow.
right? I mean, so many people are either out of a job or looking for something new that they can just do from their house. So, kind of my angle is, yeah, here's a good example of a 9 to 5, but hey, why don't you check this one out too and, work for yourself? So,
Mhm.
angle.
Well, that's such a smart angle. It's part of the reason, that's part of the reason that a lot of our crowd, a lot of this like make money at home crowd or whatever, when they make videos that's like, here's how to make whatever, $25 working from Apple, the reason they get so many followers and the reason those followers convert into customers is because those people are interested in something different. It's actually way more basic of a human instinct than you would assume. It's not so much that everybody's like, wow, I really want to work from home doing my own business.
Mm-hmm.
Almost nobody who discovers any of our affiliates or any of our marketing is thinking about that. Nobody is. They're just like, you know what? I hate my boss. This job sucks. I'm over it. And wow, something different. Hey, I'm interested. Let's click around.
Exactly.
And there's so much openness there that it's like, oh, okay, interesting. Maybe I'll take a look at this thing. Maybe I could do this. And then it's going to take them some time to feel it out. So if you give them a list of stuff, that list of stuff too, the constant question we get is, well, why would you give them a list of work from home jobs if you're, wanting to educate them about how to start their own business? That seems like a conflict of interest. But the truth is that you want to give them something that's actually valuable. That is a valuable piece of information.
Mhm.
I think it's valuable because it shows them, here's all of the different companies and the opportunities. And it leaves me feel when I look at something like that, it leaves me feeling like, wow, there's a lot of opportunity out here. There's a ton of opportunity.
Mhm. And if you want people to believe you and trust you, you got to give them some value, right? You can't just sell, 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 do the
Yes.
trends. So, yeah, I mean, some of my biggest videos are the value videos, not the trendy type videos, but
Yeah. Yeah. You use some videos to grow your audience and you use a lot more videos to cultivate that audience to sort of, um, use some videos to find to cast a line out into different pockets of the internet, pockets of social media, and then you use other videos to sort of actually start to lure people in and bring people closer. And but I think that those types of videos that are not trendy, that are not viral, are really key to because I've seen people go on TikTok, create nothing but these kind of viral videos, and their audience gets exhausted. So they can grow something to 500,000 and nothing's happening. It's kind of crickets. As where if you do that in combination with a lot of actual real value, talking about your story, about your journey, making it relatable, helping people, being vulnerable, basically, is what I'm saying. Having some degree of vulnerability, then there's some realness. And that's really what people are kind of the intuition, the unconscious of the human is sort of scanning, 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 scanning. Hmm. Scan, scan, scan. Is this person real? Can I trust them? I don't know. Let me check out this little let me check out his little freebie and let's see.
exactly. Yeah, here's my strategy, right? Maybe this will help some of the newer people. So, when my business really started to go, the one
Mhm.
thing was just being consistent, right? I took some time and I looked at the top 5 people that were performing really, really well, and I was just like, what sets them apart? What am I doing differently? And it was just being consistent.
Yep.
So mid October of this year, I decided I was going to post 6 videos a day. So I do 4 videos that are trending on TikTok, which are usually that kind of gimmicky text on the screen style, 7 5 7 second clips. Then I do one talking video a day where I
Mm,
have some kind of business point and it's just me talking to the camera. And
yep.
then job post at night, and the nighttime job post tends to do really well.
Wow.
But then what I've also noticed is like some videos are going really well on Facebook, and while the same video on TikTok will die right now. So I really think post your videos on TikTok, download it without the watermark, like Save Tick, right, is a website you can use, and just post it right away to Instagram and Facebook because there's no like rhyme or reason. Some videos will just pop up on Facebook, one will go on Instagram, and that way each video, now you don't have just 6 chances a day. Now you've got 18 chances a day for that video to pop off, right?
Yes.
So
So powerful. And throughout that time, you've never really been able to discover a rhyme or reason, right?
it changes. TikTok is really changing what they push out. You know, I'll do the same style of video 2 days in a row, and yesterday that video got 4,000 views, and today that same style's got 100. You know,
Mm,
whereas Facebook right now, kind of the trendy stuff is going really well consistently,
yeah.
but TikTok is just, I think, moving around quite a bit right now.
Interesting, interesting. Okay. Wow, that's so fascinating. Huh. Yeah, that's crazy. I
Hmm.
would have never guessed. Yeah, I just I feel like, in the last 2.5 years, all of this time that I've been watching, implementing, testing, that I've never really been able to nail down a rhyme or reason. I've seen little micro trends here and there, but, um, man, there's never really been a real clear, like, "Oh, this is what's happening now." But it's also kind of interesting to me that like we've had people who have just never been able to get successful on TikTok,
Hmm.
ever. And on Facebook, they have uh, hundreds of thousands of followers.
Right.
Um, on Instagram, they've completely blown up, but for whatever reason, maybe it's just some weird glitch in the algorithm, TikTok has never taken them off. And
Mm.
same vice versa. There's people on TikTok who like went on Facebook and they're like, dude, I get like 4 views.
Yeah, exactly. Right.
It's so weird.
Yeah. Like I said, so I've got a video on Facebook right now. It's closing in on 6 million views, and that same video on TikTok, I think, only got 6,000.
Wow.
So I think it's probably a different algorithm, but it might be also a different audience, right?
Yeah.
So that's why if you post that video to several different platforms, it might hit.
Totally, totally might hit.
For the new
I That's a golden nugget.
for the new people that are out there, right? If you don't have a lot of money to start your business, one really cool thing Facebook is doing is they pay you for your reels now.
Yeah.
So I have a page that has been going longer, and that's the one where the video popped off. But I
Hmm.
decided to post videos on my personal account just to see how long it would take me to get to be eligible to be paid for reels.
Yeah.
It's going to take me about 2 weeks by posting six a day.
Wow.
So if you're new,
Crazy.
cash flow to cover your business, man, just jump on Facebook, start a couple weeks, and then have them pay you.
Totally, totally.
Hmm.
And same with YouTube.
Yep.
YouTube, we had a guy speak at one of our most recent masterminds, and he was like, "Yeah, dude, I mean, I have a great, like, digital business." A big part of his business was, a big part of his business is just he gets paid about 90, I think he said it was like $97,000 a year from YouTube and his ads and stuff.
Hmm.
And yeah, I think like, on TikTok, I've heard that when people started to do that, their views went way down. Like, and
Yep.
they were just not getting views anymore, so they're like, "Alright, I'm gonna just turn this off," and things are back to normal. So you
Yep.
gotta kinda test and try and, figure out what works, but man, there's even in just the skill set you can build in the challenge and the blueprints and all of that, just in that alone, you can easily get on there and start to get paid for just content creation. Like that's a real thing. We're in a creator economy now,
Mhm.
and lots of people do that. What w- so for people who are newer, people who are here and they're starting to create content on different platforms like YouTube Shorts and Instagram and Facebook and TikTok and all these different places. Um, what do you feel like, based on your experience and your investments and all of your time and energy, would be really valuable to somebody who's like, I'm about to start posting my first TikToks? What would you say to that person?
Yeah, I think the best place to start would be start with TikTok. That's where I film all of my videos. And do some research. Try and find the top 3 or 5 people in your niche that are doing really well, and look at their videos that have gone over 100,000 views. But then also, just search a hashtag that relates to your niche. So for me, make money online, and you can filter it on TikTok to show you the most liked videos in the last 7 days, and just read
Mm,
the video. Um, I started a new account a while back, and that's what I did for the first 2 weeks. Is I just recreated all of those videos, and your account will pop up because that's what the algorithm is pushing out. And then from there, just download those videos and put them on the other platforms and see what happens.
totally.
That's it. Don't
Wow,
try.
that's confusing. Just kidding. Yeah, it's a little amazing how simple it is, right?
Don't reinvent the wheel. I think we always think, oh, I got to be
Yeah.
different.
Yeah.
No, do what works, and you'll get there too.
Totally, totally. And I think that, when you say do the work, the thing I always wanna add or just say to that is, like, also just remember you've got a lot of time,
Right.
like, you're in your 30s, right?
Yep. 34.
Um, yeah, yeah, same. And, even for people, I mean, 60 is the new 40. You
Mhm.
know, uh, for people who feel like they're in their later stage of life, I mean, you've likely got a lot more time for all of this than you think, especially some of you who are in your 20s. It's like you've got so much time. But for everybody, typically, life and sometimes capitalism makes us feel like we've just got this pressure and like, God, I have to like hurry up. And sometimes, Anthony says I'm 62. Sometimes a couple months of just really going to work, 6 months. If you think about how long it takes people to get good at a job or, to get really proficient at a job that they start, it takes a couple months to work out all the kinks where, I used to, back in the day, I used to drive a forklift when I was a coffee roaster, and all of the weird kinks and stuff. Sure. Could I get on the forklift and drive it around a little bit? Yeah, sure. Like I can figure it out. But to maneuver pallets and not be a common newbie mistake is that you have the forks tipped up a little bit and you come under a pallet and it actually busts one of the coffee bags open and coffee just spills all over the entire warehouse and everybody looks at you like, oh, newbie. And I did that a couple times. And so, it took me 6 months to a year before those dumb little newbie mistakes, and it felt more natural and it felt more real. In this industry, sometimes people get so enamored by, just how long, like how fast things can happen. I take a little different approach. I say, if you're going to go online and you're going to start a business where you're building real skills and you want to do that, hey, take your time. It's totally fine. Like, you've been here for a year, over a year, and it probably feels like no time at all.
No, it really doesn't. And
Yeah.
track the small things, right? I mean, so my first two goals when I started this was to get the first high ticket commission and to be on the morning show. So I've checked those two off. So now I got
Bingo.
goals. But I I don't even worry about the high tickets, right? Because you can't control that. Track what you can control. Track the views, track the entry level signups for whatever affiliate program you're with, and
Yep.
that's it. Don't get hung up on that other stuff.
Yep.
And start tracking those smaller things that you can control, it'll keep you motivated because if you do it for a couple of weeks, you're right. You're probably not going to get a high ticket commission. Then you're going to be like, well, what am I even doing here? But if you see success with those little wins, you're going to keep being motivated and keep going. So that's what I recommend.
Dude, that's as good as you could ever recommend. That was really great. Focus on those small successes, focus on those wins. Man, really powerful. That's awesome. Jake, I don't know if we could give anything better. This felt really, you were just dropping little nuggets this whole way. And if everybody who's here is paying attention, or maybe they want to rewatch this back, I felt like I got a lot from you in this episode. And man, this was really cool. And I felt like specifically you were really succinct and really clear and to the point and didn't overcomplicate anything for us. So thanks for that. I appreciate that.
Keep it simple. That's it.
Keep it simple.
That's it.
My high school football coach, he said, we run our football team off the KISS method, which is keep it simple, stupid.
Right.
And and it's very true. We had a few plays that we ran, but damn it, we were pretty good. So
Yeah.
um just run a few plays, keep it simple, and get a couple first downs. I see the Patriots hoodie on.
Oh
Get
yeah.
a couple first downs, and eventually the touchdown
Yeah.
shows up.
That's right. Keep it
Cool,
simple.
man. So this is the best place for people to find you, Jake's Gig Guide.
Yep. Jake's Gig Guide, both on TikTok and Instagram. If you
All
ever want
right.
to Send me a message on Instagram. That's the easiest.
Cool.
And if you want to follow me on Facebook, it's just Jake Hartman.
Love it. Jake, thanks for coming on the show, man. Appreciate it.
Talk again soon.
Awesome. See ya. All right, everybody. Jake's Gig Guide. All right. JAKES Gig, GIG, Guide. And you can find him on TikTok, Instagram. Go hit him up, send him a DM. And also make sure you say, hey, found you on Wake Up Legendary. Let him know what was something that was impactful, what was something that was meaningful or valuable. And go find him, give him a follow. That's what, a big part of this show is to help point people to helpful people and stir up our community a little bit. So go find him. For everybody who's here, we are hosting a mastermind this weekend in Florida. We're going to be doing a live mastermind from Orlando in a huge, well, I don't know about huge, but in a little mansion out in Orlando, Florida. And it's going to be, I think on Friday, we're going to be going live for Wake Up Legendary from the mastermind. So if you want to be joined or join a big crew of people from our mastermind down in Orlando, tune in Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern, and we'll have a nice little presentation for you. So see you, everybody. Go follow Jake on Instagram and TikTok, Jake's Gig Guide, and we'll be back here tomorrow, same time, same place. See you guys.